Cat Williams told Shannon Sharp on the infamous Club Shay Shay interview, he said, "You have a natural allegiance to losers, and that's not like you." Falcons fans, that organization, Arthur Blank, Matt Ryan, little Arthur Blank, and the president of the Falcons organization said, "Hey, here, hold my beer. Let me show you something. We have a natural allegiance to losers too." And that came in the way of announcing that Kevin Stefanski is now the Atlanta Falcons head coach. See, here's the thing. Being a Falcons fan isn't just about fandom anymore. It's about endurance because it's about faith. It's about being loyal with no kind of guarantees. It's about believing in potential, where a lot of people go wrong. They believe in potential, but they just end up collecting disappointment like keychains. And here it is. Here we go again, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. You change the structure, you change the power dynamics. You say, "Get out of here, Rich McKay." You said, "Get out of here, Terry Fontenot. Get out of here, Raheem Morris. Matt Ryan, come on in. Come on, we need you. Fans, come on back. We need you." You got Matt Ryan stepping into making football decisions. And the first namer and the first major name that Matt Ryan hires is Kevin Stefanski. Now, let me really paint this picture for you. We're not going to be in an interview room. We're not going to be in an office. No whiteboard up here. No PowerPoint presentation. We are at Arthur Blank's home. If you read on Twitter, this is where this whole arrangement came to be and how it came to be. In my mind, I'm imagining, Arthur Blank is in Buckhead somewhere. That's where his home would be. It's a big table. They said that the original menu was going to be steaks and potatoes. But Arthur Blank said, "You know what? Let me prepare some ribeye steaks." So I'm pretty sure they had that. Some wines I can't even pronounce. Some delectable entrees and appetizers. I'm pretty sure the ribeyes were cooked medium rare. I myself prefer medium. Let me know how you prefer your steaks. And I'm pretty sure there's, sweet nothings being exchanged, corny jokes, dad jokes, bunch of stuff that I probably can't even relate to. But here's my thing. Somewhere in between that first bite and then that first glass of that expensive wine, the main question I have, and it has to be an elephant in the room. Even if nobody says it out loud, we got to address the elephant. What did Kevin Stefanski possibly say at this table? How can he explain not only the last 2 years, but the last 6 years that he's been with the Cleveland Browns? What can he promise me if I'm the owner of the team? If I'm the president of the Atlanta Falcons, what can you tell me that makes me believe in you being our next head coach? What can you say that makes me say, yeah, this is the hire we need right now? Not who he was, not what he did when he won Coach of the Year. Janet Jackson said, "What have you done for me lately?" Imagine you yourself, you're going on an interview. And let's just say you were fired from your last job. How are you going to have that conversation? What happened at your last job? Why did this happen? Because at some point in time, you have to figure out what are you going to be accountable for, but what also was actually something that you did. What's something that you can say that, I achieved this. I did really good in this. Because right now, if that answer to those questions, if they're not crystal clear, then this dinner is over. Because now we're just here for the vibes, and we're not even here for the vision of the Atlanta Falcons. Now, again, let's just say, we're halfway through our medium steaks. We chopped up our asparagus a little bit. It's almost dessert time. Arthur Blank, I'm picturing him leaning back. I'm seeing Matt Ryan listening so attentively. And then let's just say Junior Arthur Blank. His name escapes me, but Arthur Blank's son. Let me be respectful. And he says, Coach Kevin, walk me through the last 2 years. Because now the resume is about to get real. Because the last 2 seasons in Cleveland, they weren't no highlight reel. It was a masterclass in offensive inconsistency, a weekly reinvention instead of evolution, quarterback uncertainty, a roster that never quite fully aligned. It reminds me of Cedric the Entertainer in Kings of Comedy, talking about Luther Vandross. That curl that didn't quite curl all the way. The Browns, they just couldn't curl all the way. It was a team that felt managed. It didn't feel like he was a leader of men. And if you're going to be a head coach in the NFL, you need a leader of men. And if I were to do anything, I would get my Travis Scott on. I'm gonna pick up the phone, baby. Hey, Mike Tomlin was an hour away in Athens, Georgia. You could have put that call in. I know the rumor said that, he didn't want to coach this year, but I promise you for $20 million, you'll want to coach. Come on down to the A. Come on. Pick up the phone, baby. Ooh. But going back to Kevin Stefanski, I understand context matters. Injuries matter. Yes, for sure. Cleveland is Cleveland. I get it. Ain't nobody really trying to sign the Cleveland Browns and be a part of that franchise. I get it. I promise you I do. In spite of what's going on, what are you establishing to fix said things? What are you doing? And lately, the clarity in Cleveland was cloudy, just like the weather is most times. And I'm picturing myself now. I'm picturing how this dinner went, and I'm pretty sure it's dessert time. Room is getting quiet. Now you gotta clear your throat. Now, I'm reading over your time there. You've had 13 quarterbacks. Are we going to cheers to that? Are we going to make a toast to that? But here's the thing. Patterns tell the truth that resumes tries to soften. You can't sell me on stability when you've majored in instability. You can't sell me quarterback development when you haven't had a Pro Bowl quarterback. You can't sell me long-term vision when you've had short-term success. And those successes were in those years of you getting coach of the year. When the most important position in football has been a revolving door for you, you're not showing flexibility. You're showing instability. And Falcons fans, instability has been that girl. Instability has been quite common for the Atlanta Falcons. This is a franchise that has had Kirk Cousins as a quarterback. This is the franchise that had, Falcons fans, hold your breath, Joey Harrington at quarterback. This is a franchise that had Chris Chandler at quarterback. He did get us to a Super Bowl, neither here nor there. This is a franchise that had Desmond Ridder. Watch out. I know y'all throwing rocks at me now. I'm sorry. I had to bring up Desmond Ridder's name because I have to show that the Falcons have had their failures at quarterback. But now you're going to bring in someone who's the quarterback guru, but where's your work? And since we're here, let's bring it here. Shedeur Sanders. Not because he's the only quarterback, but because he's symbolic. The optics, the body language, the whole way this situation has played out publicly. Fair or not, fans saw something. This might not be the coach that you can trust with this new era of quarterbacks. And here's why it hits different, because Matt Ryan is sitting at the table. Matt Ryan is a quarterback who survived chaos, okay? Matt Ryan values continuity. Matt Ryan values community. Matt Ryan was a quarterback who understood how fragile trust is at that position, especially in the city of Atlanta. I don't have to go into it, but Michael Vick broke Atlanta's heart. To be in Atlanta during the Michael Vick experience was a time. Drake and Future said it like this: what a time to be alive. It was a time to be alive. And here's the thing. This is why diversity, equality, and inclusion is so important in this world, because out of everybody in this room, don't nobody understand that Shedeur Sanders is the son of Deion Sanders, who famously started his career as an Atlanta Falcon, and you're bringing in the coach who was blatantly disrespectful to Shedeur Sanders. You're bringing in the coach who, for all the other quarterbacks during this season, they never took them out the game to do a goal line play. You took Shedeur Sanders out at the 1 yard line to go into a wildcat formation. Sir, we know what play you're running now. What are we doing here? You're bringing in the coach who couldn't even say Shedeur Sanders' name. Come on now. Again, Coach Prime started his career out with the Atlanta Falcons. Shedeur is his son. And you're bringing in the guy who he was beefing with. If y'all was beefing, y'all should have been beefing at that wedding. If we can't party at Bella Noche's, if we can't party at the Mercedes-Benz Dome, where can you party? And that's an issue for me. Because somebody should have the common sense to say, you know what? Some man right here. One of my favorite songs is by Bryson Tiller. He said it like this: girl, he only messed you over because you let him. Lately, you say he been killing the vibe. And right now, Matt Ryan is killing the vibe. Being a Falcons fan is like being in a toxic relationship. And not only just a toxic relationship, but those toxic relationships that you keep defending. Like, you remember the good years, but it's those bad moments. You cling to those old moments, those flashes. You explain away all the red flags. You see the red flags. You encounter the red flags all the time, but you keep going. Every time your friends ask, why are you still dealing with that situation? If that was me, I wouldn't even be in it. If it was me, I would move on. And you just sitting there like, nah, you don't really see them like I do. You talking about they working on it. You talking about give them a chance. But here's the thing, you're just scared to move on. And right now, like I said, the Falcons are killing the vibe. They're killing the momentum they had when Matt Ryan first got hired already. You bring in the fans. Okay. Matt Ryan's coming back, y'all. He's going to be the president of football operations. You know what? While we're at it, we're going to change our uniforms this year. Y'all going to like these. You're killing our patience. You're killing our trust by bringing in Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski doesn't feel like growth. He feels like the thing that Atlanta Falcons fans have been familiar with: mediocrity. You're bringing in Arthur Smith all over again. You're bringing in Mike Smith all over again. You're bringing in someone it feels like you're bringing in someone who's comfortable instead of bringing in someone who's challenging. And if you keep letting these same patterns repeat, eventually you're going to have to stop blaming the situation and start asking why you keep accepting this. Because if you keep choosing what feels safe, don't be surprised when you stay stuck where you are. Message. Let me land this plane, because here's the thing. I don't dislike Kevin Stefanski. It's not personal. It's not even emotional. This is about fit, the timing, and the direction. And don't miss this part. This is the craziest thing. They dropped this news during an NFL playoff game. Shouts out to the Seahawks and the 49ers. Seahawks BTA with the 49ers. I mean, dog walked them. All gas, no brakes. And here's the thing. While real contenders were playing today, trying to compete for a Super Bowl, the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks, their team was winning. They wouldn't be able to interview him until after the game that they've been eliminated from. But they can't talk to him because his team is still playing. Kevin Stefanski, y'all were able to do a second interview with him. I mean, lay out the whole spread for him. You don't see nothing wrong with that. So yes, while real contenders were playing meaningful football, the timing tells me everything I need to know. And here's what I know. If Kevin Stefanski is the answer, then what exactly is the question? Because Atlanta's question isn't how do we survive the chaos? The question is how do we establish identity, stability, and long-term planning? And nothing about Kevin Stefanski's recent resume screams, this is a new era. This is someone that can lead me to a Super Bowl. This is someone that can lead me to a playoff. This is someone that can lead me to a division championship. This move feels like comfort. The optics on this are crazy. It does, the intent, the optics, everything is off with this pick for us as Atlanta Falcons fans. Atlanta doesn't need a coach who survived turbulence. Atlanta needs one who can prevent turbulence. You don't fix instability by hiring someone whose biggest red flag is instability. Over his tenure, he's had over 13 quarterbacks. Let that breathe. Process that for a second. That's not development, y'all. It's a damn shame. That's damage control. That's not development. That's discouraging. That's disappointing. Quarterbacks are the heartbeat of the franchise. If you get a quarterback that keeps resetting under your watch, then you can't tell the time. Every team for instance, the Broncos quarterback, Bo Nix, is now injured. Insert Garrett Stidham. Do you think they have a chance to beat either the Texans or the Patriots without their quarterback, Bo Nix? All the coaching openings. How many of them have a quarterback? Lamar Jackson's the only quarterback that's MVP level that can get you some wins. Here's another thing. If this is Matt Ryan's first major football decision, they say first impressions last. First impressions mean something. Well, this first impression is shaky at best. And it hurts me to say because Matt Ryan is cool. He's Matty Ice. He means something to the city of Atlanta. But sometimes leadership isn't about your past legacy. It's about the direction you're going. And your first move tells people how you think, whether it's bold or careful. Whether the move feels familiar or it feels transformative. That's the tension. That's the battle. It's hard being loyal as a Falcons fan. Because the thing is, Falcons fans don't lack loyalty. Falcons fans just lack results. Since Arthur Blank, even before Arthur Blank, Falcons fans have trusted plans. They've defended decisions. We've waited on timelines that's never arrived. And lately, like I said earlier, the Falcons have been killing the vibe. Now, if this seems to work out, if this works out in the future, I'll own it. But right now, this doesn't quite feel like growth. It feels like a habit. And habit is how toxic relationships survive long after the warnings have shown up. And for Falcon fans, they're not looking for safety. Falcon fans are looking for Super Bowls. This is more insight. Insight you can trust because there is more where it came from. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe to the channel.